Fashion design. Fashion is a term that usually applies to a prevailing mode of expression, but quite often applies to a personal mode of expression that may or may not apply to all. Inherent in the term is the idea that the mode will change more quickly than the culture as a whole. The terms fashionable and unfashionable are employed to describe whether someone or something fits in with the current popular mode of expression. In this sense, fashions are a sort of communal art through which a culture examines its notions of beauty and goodness. A textile designer designs fabric, weaves and prints for clothes and furnishings. Most textile designers are formally trained as apprentices and in school. A stylist is a person who coordinates the clothes, jewelry and accessories used in fashion photography and catwalk presentations of clothes collections. A stylist also is a designer whose designs are based upon extant things, trends and the collections of other designers. A buyer orders stock of clothes for shops, chain stores and other types of stores. Most fashion buyers are trained in business studies. A seams whether manually or with a sewing machine, either in a garment shop or as a sewing machine operator in a factory. He or she may not have the skills to make, design or cut the garments or to fit them on a model. A seamstress is not synonymous with dressmaker. A teacher of fashion design teaches the art and craft of fashion in art schools and in fashion design school. Fashion in clothes. Fashion in clothes has allowed wearers to express emotion or solidarity with other people for millennia. Modern Westerns have a wide choice available in the selection of their clothes. What a person chooses to wear can reflect that person's personality or likes. When people who have cultural status to start wear new or different clothes, a fashion trend may start. People who like or respect them may start to wear clothes of a similar style. Fashions may vary significantly within a society according to age, social class, generation, occupation and geography as well as over time. For example, an older person dresses according to the fashion of young people. He or she may both look ridiculous in the eyes of both young and older people. The terms fashionista or fashion victim refers to someone who slavishly follows the current fashions. Classification of fashion. The duration of fashion's importance is a critical fashion designer or manufacturer's concern. A fashion can be brief or of long duration. Once having identified this characteristic, a designer is in a position to assess a fashion's importance to the retail inventory. Fashion is classified into many types such as style, basic or classic, fad, fashion forecasting, trends, etc. We will go one by one. Style. Style is always constant. It does not change, whereas fashion changes. It is the modification of fashion. Style is the basic outline of any garment. When we has a different neckline and different sleeves with some trimming here and there over a basic garment, then the basic garment is modified into a different look or a different outfit. This modification ferment will become fashion when it is accepted by people. Basic or classics. When a fashion is constant or long lasting such as salwar, kameez and sari, It is called basic or classic. It is similar to a standard music. The salwar kameez and sari are part of fashion scene. A customer has one or more in her wardrobe to be worn to suit different occasions. In certain times, the basic becomes the most important promotable fashion, but in or out, they remain as part of the fashion scene. Fad. A fad is something which can either make a designer's life more interesting or tenser. Very often, something appears on the fashion scene that captures the imagination only to fizzle out in short duration. Overall, fad can be defined as short-lived fashion, lasting for a very little time or period, acceptable by only a certain group of people. Fashion forecasting. This is the important part of fashion scenario because when any new garment is designed by the designer and worn, it will not create fashion by itself. It needs the media to spread fashion, and this media which spread fashion and gets the fame and name to the designers is fashion forecasting. Fashion forecasting is done through many communicating media such as cinema, fashion shows, press, magazines, newspapers and window display. It includes market research, consumer research, surveys, consumer focus groups, in-store informal interviews, shopping, sales record, evaluating the collections, fashion trends, trend for target markets. Fashion forecasting is done where crowd is formed in such occasion so that it can create fashion. Trends. Fashion trends are the styling ideas that major collections have in common. They indicate the direction in which fashion is moving. Fashion forecasters look for the styles they think are prophetic, ideas that capture the mood of the times and signal a new fashion trend. Several designers may use a similar fashion idea because they have been inspired by common sources. The trend may appear in a fabrication or another design element that appears in several collections. Collection. Each season, the design and merchandising departments of each division are responsible for creating a new line. The seasonal collection that the manufacturers will sell to retail store buyers. The terms are synonymous. Collection is used primarily in Europe and for high period apparel in the United States. Line is used more often in the United States for moderate and popular priced fashion. Mannequins. Mannequins change with fashion trends and are made in the image of the current ideal of beauty. For elegant fashion, perfectly coiffed, traditional lifelike mannequins are preferred. However, they are very expensive to buy and to maintain. To save money, many stores have replaced them with less expensive unpainted mannequins alternatives. Fashion shows. Fashion shows are special events that communicate a fashion story. The selection and organization of the fashions model bookings may be done by the fashion office, whereas invitations and other arrangements may be handled by the special events department. There are 4 possible ways to organize these presentations: formal shows, department shows, designers, trunk shows or informal modeling. Department fashion shows. Department fashion shows on a much smaller scale are produced in store to generate immediate sales. Usually, a platform is set up directly in the department that carries the clothes. Informal fashion shows. Informal fashion shows are the easiest to produce. A few models walk through the store, showing the fashions that they are wearing to customers who are shopping or having lunch in the store's restaurant. The models can take their time and customers enjoy asking them questions. This is often done in conjunction with the trunk show or special promotion. Then coming to fashion producers, fashion direction. Fashion direction is established to maintain cohesive fashion merchandising in line with a distinctive store image. In single unit stores, the owner usually acts as fashion director and buyer. In a large stores or chains, management may employ a fashion director. The fashion director is the bridge between corporate marketing policy and actual merchandising buying decisions. Fashion editors. The role of fashion editors is to educate public, to provide fashion information from all phases of the industry in all parts of the world, to make the industry or the consumer aware of all that is available, and to help the consumer make wise and suitable styling and or buying decisions. Fashion editors together with journalists, stylists and photographers act as the eyes and ears of the consumer. They let the nation or the community know where to find the fashions that are currently on the market, and they report on how new fashion should be worn and accessorized. Line. After selecting fabric, the designer must consider the other elements of good design. In this section, the term line refers to the direction of visual interest in the garment created by construction details such as seams, openings, pleats, gathers, tucks, top stitching and trims. Line direction should flow from one part of the garment to another and should not be meaninglessly cut up. Bridge. This style and price range was created to give consumers a less expensive alternative to designer fashion. Bridge is simply a step down in price from designer achieved by using less expensive fabric or different production methods. Buying house. Although the term buying house is still used in the industry, its role has greatly expanded to fill a wide variety of functions. The two primary types of buying houses are independent and store owned. An associated buying house is jointly owned and operated by a group of stores. Member stores usually have similar sale volume, store policies and target customers, but are in no competing locations. Operating expenses are allocated to each member store on the basis of the store sales volume and the amount of services rendered. Associated Merchandising Corporation, that is AMC, is a well-known example. Second, a corporate buying house is owned and operated by the parent organization of a group or chain of stores. That federated department stores. 70% of the buying for member stores is done centrally by the percent company, while the other 30% is done by individual member stores. International buying houses. Many large retail stores have their own buying house abroad or use foreign commissionaries, agents representing stores in foreign market centers. These offices are equipped to handle import export transactions in the language of the country, check quality control, figure currency, exchange rates, provide a consolidated center for shipping and wade through customs red tape. Merchandising. Merchandising is planning to have the right merchandise at the right time in the right quality and at the right price to meet the needs of the company's target customers. It is also the manner in which a group or line of garments is presented to the public, the way the line will look in the stores. The merchandiser or product manager is basically a process manager developing the blueprint of the line. Merchandising activities, which vary from company to company, usually include setting financial goals, budgets, and price points, making the merchandising plans, planning line size, planning fabric purchases, sourcing, scheduling, production and deliveries, controlling product flow, presenting the finished line to the sales staff, and sometimes pre-planning assortments for stores. Scheduling. Merchandising is responsible for integrating all the phases of product development, including design and production. The merchandiser or product manager sets up a schedule of deadlines for styling, finished samples, and production to meet the required shipping dates. These dates are, of course, coordinated with the production department. Merchandisers meet regularly with the designers, the sales staff, and production managers to discuss company goals, budget requirements, line size, delivery dates, sizes, and so on. Seasons. Each season, the design and merchandising departments of each division are responsible for creating a new line. The seasonal collection that the manufacturer will sell to retail store buyers. The terms are synonymous. Line is used more often in the United States for moderately and popularly priced fashion. Work on a new line begins approximately 8 months before the selling season. Designers and merchandisers also work on 2 or more lines at once, designing a future collection while checking samples from one that is about to be produced. They are finished work on the spring line while beginning fabric research for summer. It is a continual process of creating new merchandise, a seamless product development. A merchandise plan. Each season, merchandiser have to develop a merchandise plan or business plan. They must decide how many apparel or accessory groups are needed to meet both the demands of retailer and consumers and the financial goals of the manufacturer. The previous year's actual sales are used as the basis for projected sales goals for each group. Spreadsheets are created to show what needs to be produced and sold per month to reach sales and profit goals. The merchandiser has to determine the number of groups, fabrics, and styles required to meet those sales goals. Fashion designing and accessories. Designing garment. The design. Different designers work in different ways. Some sketch their ideas on paper, others drape fabric on a dress stand, pinning, folding, and tucking it until the idea for the garment emerges. A third method is to adopt their own patterns from previous seasons. Making a toile or muslin. After making a rough paper pattern or life-size 2D plan of the garment, a sample machinist then makes a trial version of the garment from plain colored calico. The toile is put onto a dress stand or a model to see how it fits and whether it hangs properly. Making a card pattern. When the designer is completely satisfied with the fit of the toile or muslin, they show it to a professional pattern maker who then makes the finished working version of the pattern out of card. The pattern maker's job is very precious and precise and painstaking. The fit of the finished garment depends on their accuracy. The finished dress. Finally, a sample garment is made up in the proper fabric. Areas of fashion design. Many professional fashion designers start off by specializing a particular area of fashion. The smaller and the more specific the market, the more likely a company is get to the right look and feel to their clothes. It is also easy to establish oneself in the fashion industry. If a company is known for one type of product rather than several products, once a fashion company becomes established, it may decide to expand into a new area. If the firm has made a name for the clothes it already produces, this helps to sell the new line. It is usually safest for a company to expand into an area similar to one it already knows. For example, a designer of women's sportswear might expand into men's sportswear. Types of design. There are two types of design. One is structural design and decorative design. Structural design. Structural design, when an object structure is an integral part of the design, is structural design. Structural design is those that are made wide the size of color, texture of an object. For example, weaving different kinds of weave as example of structural design. Structural design details in a dress include collar, sleeves, yokes, pockets, skirts, etc. Requirements of good structural design. It should be suited to purpose. It should be simple. It should be well proportioned. It should be suited to the material with which it is made. It is for more importance than decorative design because it is essential, whereas decorative is the luxury of design. Structural design depends on the form and fabric. It is also created by the construction details as a design. It is inherent in all garments because it creates in construction details together including seams, collars, pockets and texture of the fabric. Any detail that is an integral part of the garment is structural design. The basic requirements of a good structural design for clothing are as follows. Silhouette, pleasingly related to the body structure and expensive of that time. Design appropriate to its use and to the needs of the wearer. Well proportioned individual parts that offer unity with variation. Character and individuality in line, form or texture. Decorative design. It is the surface enrichment of the structural design, any line, color of the material that has been applied on structural design for the purpose of adding a richer quality is a decorative design. Beauty is the structure of design. Decorative design is only the luxury. Example, after weaving, when the import design, it is decorative. Example, applique, embroidery, painting or any trimming. Requirements of good decorative designs are: it should be used in moderation, it should be placed at a structural points and should strengthen the shape of the object. The decorative design should be suitable for the material and for the type of service it must give. There should be enough background space to give an effect of simplicity and dignity to design. Surface pattern should cover the surface quietly. Types of decorative design. There are 5 types of decorative design: naturalistic, conventional, abstract, historic and geometric. Fashion accessories. Accessories help to bring up the spot that one wants to highlight in a dress or apparel. They can also help to hide someone's weakness, part of dress. Trends are continuously set by adding accessories to different outfits. Take belts for example. A few years ago, girls all started wearing really thick belts that would never fit into belt loops. But this fashion accessory made it big time. Soon everyone was seen wearing them. Today, big is out and maybe ribbon belts are in. But these things change an entire look, from handbags to shoes to chodi lines, earrings and dangle earrings to 80s leg warmers. Footwear, handbags, hats, ties, etc.